Hypocrites, but worse. Was Elon Musk hopped up on ketamine? You can go check with your veterinarian on that one. And other impairment producing drugs while he was campaigning with Donald Trump? Well, that would explain the jumping up and down and Donald Trump allegedly reporting to some insiders, what's with this guy during a lot of rallies. Was he hopped up on drugs while he was running DOGE and defunding federal agencies, putting them through his words, the wood chipper, wielding an axe? And why doesn't Donald Trump care about it? He cared when it gave him political expediency and political currency to attack the son of a president and his drug use. But he's got somebody inside the White House, inside the inner sanctum, who's making key decisions about my relationship and your relationship with the federal government, funding of not-for-profits, funding of humanitarian entities around the world, funding of our national security apparatus, funding of Social Security and Medicare. And Donald Trump's not concerned. That alone, I keep saying this, but it's true. That alone should get Donald Trump and the rest of MAGA effectively thrown out at the midterms. I'm Michael Popac. You're here. I'm hopped up. I'm hopped up on enthusiasm for what I'm hearing coming out of the Trump administration. And now the Democrats and other fair-minded people are going to use it against him at the election. Reporting coming out of the New York Times, not the failed New York Times, the real New York Times, the one that wins all the Pulitzer Prizes. I just did a great interview that you're going to hear this week with Jonah Bromwich, who did the definitive report of everything that happened in his new book about chronicling the Trump conviction from indictment, arraignment to conviction in New York. You're going to love that book. New York Times has some good reporting, and they make sure they've got at least 2 or 3 or 4 corroborating witnesses before they report that Elon Musk was a frequent user of things like ketamine and mushrooms and gummies and smoked weed, which he talked about at length on the Joe Rogan show, even while he was on the campaign trail. And who among us think, based on watching his conduct, watching his wild mood swings, thinks that he was off those drugs for the 120 days or more that he was in the Trump administration? Apparently, Donald Trump, who cared a lot about who brought the cocaine to the White House, and the FBI under Donald Trump and Kash Patel are going to reopen the investigation of whether Hunter Biden brought a bag of coke with him to the White House, couldn't care less whether Elon Musk, his hand-picked person to destroy the federal government, whether he was hopped up on drugs or not. Let's play a clip of him being cornered and interviewed on a plane. You'll hear, let me just do a translator for this. You're going to hear the same old thing. Oh, the failed New York Times, the one that won the Pulitzer about a fake hoax. All right, let's play the clip.
I like this man.
Were you aware of Elon Musk's regular drug use?
No, I wasn't. I think he's fantastic. I think Elon is a fantastic guy. And
are you troubled by these reports?
I'm not troubled by anything with Elon. I think he's fantastic. Did a great job. And, DOGE continues. And by the time it's finished, we'll have numbers that'll knock your socks off. It's going to be, he did a fantastic job. And he didn't need it. He didn't need to do it.
Oh, look, I've been reading the New York Times since, according to my late, now departed mother, unfortunately, that I've been reading the New York Times since I was 8 years old. Okay. Are they perfect? No. Are they the paper of record for the United States when things relate to law and politics? Absolutely. Have they won more Pulitzer Prizes than any other newspaper for investigative reporting and otherwise? Yes, for a good reason. All the news that's fit to print right there on the top of their box and on the top of their masthead. So look, here's the reporting that you should know already. Elon Musk has already admitted in interviews that he's a marijuana user. I'm not here to malign all marijuana users. I'm here to say he's admitted to using mind-altering drugs. You can say what you want about marijuana, but it does impair you. It may not be like, if you take the wheel, it's not the same thing as a drunk driver. But I'm not sure I want somebody also who smoked a whole bag or a bong making key decisions for me about my relationship with the federal government, undermining my national security, making economic decisions, and the rest. Or at least I would like to know that. You know how when somebody, we have that box for the hearing impaired with the person who's doing American Sign Language or some other sign language to support. I want that. I want a disclaimer. I want a box, an asterisk that says this person that's making these decisions may be impaired, and then I can make my own decision. So the reporting is it wasn't just pot, or marijuana. It was gummies and ketamine, which is a tremendous mind-altering, hallucinogenic inducing drug, and other drugs like Ritalin and things because, of whatever his mental or medical or emotional condition is. We know he's odd. We've watched it. There's a reason why, the parody of him on Saturday Night Live is so effective because, he comes off as being weird. He talks weird. His phraseology is weird. His thought process is weird. He dresses weird. I mean, Donald Trump's own inner people reported, and this came out during the campaign, that Donald Trump was like, why is this guy wearing a t-shirt and a suit jacket to White House meetings? Like the key White House meeting where he was introduced to the cabinet. That video where they all look like they're in a hostage video because Donald Trump wants a round of applause that was forced onto them and led by Howard Lutnick as Commerce Secretary and Donald Trump. He's wearing a stupid black MAGA hat, black t-shirt, and a suit jacket. He looks like this is no insult to Uber drivers, but he looks like an Uber driver. The only time I ever saw him with a shirt and tie is when he was at the State of the Union address, and I'm sure they forced it on him. They had no problem going after Zelensky, a wartime president who came to a White House meeting, a total setup, as we know, to be pilloried and to be attacked and kicked in the diplomatic brass ones by Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, and President Trump, and everybody criticized, he's wearing fatigues. He's wearing a military t-shirt. How insulting. Yeah? How about when President Bukele of El Salvador came to the White House wearing a black t-shirt and under a suit jacket, obviously from the Elon Musk collection at JCPenney. But it's just another sign. This explains why Elon Musk was so erratic and irrational at accomplishing what he accomplished or didn't accomplish. And now he's going to be the subject just because he went back to I love how quickly, let me critique the New York Times for a minute. I don't like the fact that I read headline that says, now that he's done with the government, he's returning to the assault on the moon or the Mars or whatever it is. They made it sound so innocent. He said, now that he's done effing up America in the White House, now back to his Mars project without giving any of the context of what happened in between. So it's fair game. Just because he's retired as a special employee for 120 days with the government doesn't mean he's out of the woods. He's going to be deposed under oath in these cases, including one before Judge Chutkan involving DOGE and its role in the federal government and the fact that Donald Trump violated the appointments clause because he never appointed Elon Musk appropriately or had him confirmed by the Senate. So he's going to have to stand and deliver. And I think it's fair game now. As a 35-year litigator, you can look me up. Having had Kanye West in a very famous deposition, I know the questions to ask. And one of them is going to be, and this is standard fare for any deposition, just to be clear. I don't think I've started a deposition in the last 20 years where I haven't included in the first 10 questions. Get ready. Are you on any prescription medication or other mind-altering drugs? Or have you taken any drugs or used any recreational drugs? Or gummies, or now I'm going to add ketamine, that would impair your ability to tell the truth today? Are you on any drugs? That's a question. That's a legit question before you ask a question under oath with a court reporter. Now it's fair game. Tell me about your use of ketamine while you were making these decisions to send in these 20-year-old tech bros to tear down America. When you wrote on social media about putting U.S. aid through a wood chipper, were you on drugs? Attention, fellow trial lawyers, if that is not now part of the questions that you'll be asking, that's professional malpractice. This is easy. This is a softball. So look, Should we play the clip? No, I think we played the clip already. I think we played enough clips. Here's the bottom line. Let's draw a bottom line under this. I believe the New York Times in its reporting that Elon Musk, based on my own observations, was on mood-altering and mind-altering drugs, not only during the campaign and most of his career, but while he was in the White House. I think there's no doubt about that. I think there are people inside that are dying to tell that story and leak it out, because this Trump administration is the leakiest presidency I've ever seen, because it's a sign of resistance from within. And this is not over. Just because Donald Trump wants to wish it away and cover his eyes and his ears. Oh, the failed New York Times, forget it. There's going to be more reporting. Wait till the scripts get leaked out. I'm not asking anybody to violate, violate law related to the medical condition of Elon Musk, but he used drugs while he was in office, which should come as no surprise that Donald Trump is so nonchalant about it. RFK Jr. is an admitted heroin addict. Maybe he's not on heroin now, but he admitted that he has been in the past. What do you think that did to his brain and his brain chemistry? As he makes his new decisions about making America healthy again, based on making policy based on fraudulent medical reports that even this Trump administration can't back up. So you've got a former heroin addict, and I'm not sure there's ever a former heroin addict in RFK Jr. You got ketamine user, I'm not going to go as far as addict, in Elon Musk. And you got Donald Trump, who just says, par for the course. These are the things that need to be considered when you vote thumbs up or thumbs down at the midterms on Donald Trump. No one is running against him. Midterms are always a assessment by the American people, thumbs up or thumbs down, on how the current president is doing. There's no Joe Biden, even though he keeps mentioning Joe Biden. There's no Hillary Clinton. There's no Barack Obama. There's no Kamala Harris. There's no future Democratic presidential candidates. There's no Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer or Pete Buttigieg or J.B. Pritzker or Cory Booker or fill in the blank. It's just naked, exposed Donald Trump. And it's a referendum on his presidency. And these, like a jigsaw puzzle, these are the pieces that go into the decision-making by the American people. Is he fit for office? Is your life better off? And now I got a new one. Who was on drugs in the Trump administration? No, the new one is check out Donald Trump's finances since January. Compare them to your own. His net worth has gone up 3 to 4 times. I haven't even included his family in that. Has yours? His ability to buy healthcare, gasoline, groceries, care for loved ones, be ready for a medical emergency or an insurance catastrophe is much better off than when he came in January. Can you say the same? And if you can't, you know how to vote at the midterms. So until my next report, this was a great one. I'm all hopped up on Elon Musk. We should ground him into a powder. Until my next report, I'm Michael Popac. I'm Michael Popac, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popac firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popac firm today at 1-877-POPOC-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopocfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popac firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.